Have you ever pondered this intriguing question? Is Jesus present in the Old Testament? How might the sacred texts, written centuries before his birth, herald the arrival of the most influential figure in human history? Welcome to a riveting exploration of the presence of Jesus in the Old Testament. The Old Testament, a collection of 39 books, is more than a historical account of ancient people. It is a tapestry woven with prophecies and stories that subtly and overtly point to the coming of Jesus Christ. Genesis, the very first book, introduces the concept of a Redeemer. After Adam and Eve's fall, God promises that the offspring of the woman would crush the serpent's head. This prophecy is a veiled reference to Jesus, who would ultimately defeat sin and death. In Exodus, Jesus is foreshadowed in the person of Moses. Just as Moses liberates the Israelites from Egyptian bondage, Jesus liberates humanity from the bondage of sin. The Passover lamb, whose blood saved the Israelites, prefigures Jesus, the Lamb of God, whose blood saves us all. In Leviticus, we find Jesus in the Day of Atonement. The high priest, who enters the Holy of Holies once a year to make atonement for the sins of the people, signifies Jesus, our eternal high priest, who entered the heavenly Holy of Holies once and for all. The book of Numbers presents Jesus in the bronze serpent that Moses lifted in the wilderness. Those bitten by serpents could look upon it and live. This foreshadows Jesus, who said, "As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up." In Deuteronomy, Moses predicts a future prophet like him whom the people must listen to. This prophet is none other than Jesus, who, like Moses, mediates a covenant between God and his people. In the Poetic Books, Job longs for a mediator between God and man, a role Jesus fulfills. The Psalms brim with messianic prophecies, and the Song of Songs portrays the love between Christ and his church. The prophets too are rife with references to Jesus. Isaiah refers to him as a suffering servant and a prince of peace. Daniel sees him in a vision as one like a son of man coming on the clouds of heaven. In the minor prophets, Jesus is the shepherd king of Zechariah and the messenger of the covenant in Malachi. From Genesis to Malachi, the Old Testament is a grand narrative that anticipates the coming of Jesus, the Messiah. Each book, in its unique way, paints a part of the picture of who Jesus is and what he would accomplish. In summary, the Old Testament isn't just a precursor to the New Testament, it's an integral part of the overarching biblical narrative that points to Jesus. It sets the stage for his arrival, anticipates his redemptive work, and provides a richer understanding of his person and mission. So, the next time you delve into the Old Testament, look for Jesus. You'll find him on every page, in every story, prophecy, and symbol, because the Bible, in its entirety, is his story.